It's young boy Sam Jones now. Can I just get your reaction from that fight?
A big, massive fucking anti-climax. But no, listen, it happens. It's boxing, isn't it? So it's part of Josh Warrington's story. I've lost my voice from shouting, so it's part of his story, and hopefully they can get it on again and get it done soon. So I think Josh was looking good in there, but like, you panic every time he was throwing the shots, like, because it's like a gunshot going on.
Yeah.
But Josh was looking good. He looked a lot more tighter in this fight, and I expect him to win. So hopefully they get it on again.
What's your thoughts on them first 2 rounds, though, the way Lara came out with those shots and the left side is landing?
Yeah, I think, as I say, I think Josh completely just underestimated him in the first fight, and I think Josh was prepared for his kind of how hard he punches. He took a lot on the gloves then, Josh, and just unfortunately caught him with the head, and it's a draw, no contest,
technical draw,
technical draw.
Yeah, so do you think that trilogy will happen now?
Yeah, it'll have to happen, yeah, because Josh can't really go forward in his career without putting that right, if you know what I mean, because of the way it happened and the way he lost in the first one. But I believe he'll win. I believe when they do finally get together again, which hopefully will be very soon, Josh will win.
When you were watching that first 2 rounds, did you see it going the distance?
No, I think Lara's a tough man. The engagers are a bit like, it's a bit like, oh my god, when the engagers happen. But I expected Josh to go and win on points, yeah.
Yeah, and if you could just talk a bit about Joe Joyce as well. So what's happening with him right now?
There's going to be fighting news very, very soon in regards to Joe Joyce. Fighting sooner than you think.
And then we're just going to wait for the WBO mandatory.
Yeah, exactly that. So Josh was going to fight Usyk, and then we'll wait about that. But Joe's going to be installed as the mandatory challenger, and that will be hopefully happen next year.
And we just talk a bit about Joshua Usyk. It's in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
How do you see that unfolding?
I think Josh was going to be ironically, just too big and too strong for him. I think the longer the fight goes, I think it's more in Usyk's favour, but I think Joshua's going to land a shot, and I think it'll be the end of the fight.
And if Joshua does happen next year, how does Joyce beat him?
He's being Joe Joyce, but in this fight you'll have to be, like in the Dubois fight, he was a more cautious, but it was educated pressure. I think Joe can beat anybody on his night, but Anthony Joshua's an amazing fighter, an amazing heavyweight, and it's going to be a hard fight. But to win the heavyweight title, it should be a hard fight. It shouldn't be easy.
And when people talk about Joe Joyce's style, they compare him kind of like to a George Foreman sort of thing. What's your thoughts on that? Do you kind of agree with that?
I've always said listen, if Joe can go on to achieve even 20% of what George Foreman's achieved, then he's had a great career, hasn't he? But Joe's always had that comparison early on in his career.
Yeah, and what else is happening with your set of fighters? You got any other updates?
We've got Solomon fighting there on October the 9th against Kamil Sokolovsky. We've got Johnny fighting hopefully on October the 30th on the Dillian White undercard in a good fight. Florian Marku against Prodan on the Anthony Joshua undercard. Who else have we missed? Darius Fulgen, my latest American signing, has got some news coming in the next couple of weeks on where we've gone promotionally there. Lerone Richards is hopefully, there's talks, we're in talks to fight Gongora, which is a great fight. Adam Murray's been dealing with that, to be honest, so he's been dealing with Matchroom on that, so some exciting things happening.
Absolutely. And finally, how easy do you think it will be to negotiate the fight with Joyce? I know he's the mandatory for Joshua, but with Eddie, and you've got a good relationship with him.
I've got a great relationship with Eddie,
Do you think though, like with Wilder Fury happening and all that sort of stuff, do you think it'll be quite easy to make next?
No, listen, because it's not a foregone conclusion Joshua's going to win. I believe he'll win, but it's not just a pound for pound fight in the top 5. You've got Deontay Wilder, arguably the biggest puncher in heavyweight history, against Fury, so you don't know where the belts are going to be in a few months' time.
No, and who would be the backup opponent if Joshua ends next year?
I don't know. We've got lots on the list. It's down the list in the WBO. There's a Josie Parker fight there that everyone will be excited about. Luis Ortiz, I've always wanted to make that fight for Joe, so that could be sooner rather than later.
Nice one. Well, thank you very much, Sam.
Cheers for your time, mate. Cheers.